Warning. Just because I use these herbs, just because I can eat these herbs, just because I can touch these herbs, just because I can smell these herbs, just because I can have anal sex with these herbs, does not mean that you do not have allergies or medications that may interfere with said herbs. Do not look, do not smell, do not touch, do not eat, do not even think of ordering, buying, or even of the herb itself, for you may break out into a reaction. They may cause death, miscarriages, and so on and so forth. Any medical opinions or advice that I give in these videos, you cannot hold me responsible for. It is your job to seek out an actual, licensed, educated, and fully trained physician who knows your family history to better educate you on if you can even look at a herb without breaking out into a rash or instantly dying. Thank you. Hello, 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 hello. How are y'all doing, my fluffy, 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 fluffy little creatures? I have here Copal Resin, and we are going to talk about the magical and medical properties of Copal Resin. So, let's get into it. So one of the things I wanted to do with these videos, and again, you're on my bed, so if the camera is moving around like it is right now, that's your problem, not mine. Let's readjust. I want to keep these videos super, super short because I don't want them to turn into 20-minute long chatty fests. So, you know, and I don't really have lots and lots of information. Again, I don't always provide you with the element, whether it's feminine or masculine, what gods or goddesses it's associated with. I don't always provide you with the folklore information, and never trust any medical things that I say about the herb. Always consult with a real doctor. So, Copal is a really interesting resin to me. This is what Copal looks like. Let me take out some Copal. I love the smell of Copal. So this is what like a Copal stone looks like. When you burn them on a coal, just as they are, they smoke up a lot. And I'm only closing one of my eyes to make sure that you can see the stone. Girl. Anyways, now that we're done dying and coughing, Copal is good for concentration and anointing. A tincture that has a wonderful smell but very sticky. You have to excuse my notes sometimes. I'm fucking retarded when I write things down. So basically what I tried to say there in my notes, and probably failed because I confused you. If you burn Copal on a coal by itself, you can consecrate items. That goes with any resin, really. Frankincense, myrrh, dragon's blood. What other resins are there? Palo Santo resin, patchouli resin. I have those resins. Black copal. Really any kind of resin is good for consecrating and blessing and clearing out energies. Whether they're energies that you put in there or whether they're energies that somebody else put in there and they're giving you the item, you know, resins are really good for that. You can make a tincture out of copal. I'm not really sure how that would work. I was reading on the site that you could make a tincture, but they didn't really get into like specifically how you would make a tincture out of it. Like, would you put it on a spoon and the lighter under the spoon and then melt it down and pour it out? Like, I don't really know. But copal is, I find crushed copal, I find any kind of resin that's crushed to be very sticky on your hands. Like, especially like if you're picking it up and putting it onto a coal, like your fingers afterwards just feel really sticky. Copal is a North American version of frankincense. At least that's what some of the sites that I came across is. So, you know, it's got the same, I wouldn't say the same properties as frankincense, but, you know, if you can't get your hands on frankincense, copal's the next big thing to use. Copal is sacred to Mayan and Aztec people. It was burned during their ceremonies. I burn copal a lot, but I mix copal with dragon's blood and frankincense and a couple other herbs to make a specific type of incense, specifically when dealing with spirits and I want them to manifest. So the smokier the incense along with associated herbs with the spirits will help them be able to manifest or like cross over from their plane to ours and then manifest with the incense smoke. Copal can also be used as a substitute for your heart, such as when you're doing love spells. That is the thing that I use copal for the most. So I would take a piece about this big, and if I had jar magic, so let's assume this is jar magic, I would place the copal on top, put some lover's fire water, here's a card to that, and burn it. As the copal melts and dissolves and all of that stuff, I envision that the heart is melding in with all of the stuff in the spell for the love spell. And basically what that means is that you are merging your heart with the other person to make that person, like, to make the connection between the two of you stronger and last longer. Copal can also be used in, if you're, like, I have a sachet where I'm working with a particular spirit, and I placed a piece of copal in there, which represents the heart of the spirit. So that's pretty much what I use copal for, is I mostly use pieces to represent the heart of either myself, another person, or a spirit that I'm working with. And then by burning it and melting it down, you're essentially merging your essence, your heart, all of that stuff with either the love spell or the spirit. Copal is used in rituals of purification, consecration, and making contact with other planes. So again, when I'm working with spirits, copal is a big resin incense that's used along with other resins and herbs so that I can make contact. And what does contact look like? So for me, when the incense gets going, and you've seen in this video, there's a card around here somewhere, about how like I was dancing with the spirits. If you watch the incense, you'll see that it like moves around, and it's not just because of my hands, but it's also moving around because of the wind and also because of the spirits. The spirits, I find, manifest through the incense smoke. They manifest in such a way where you can feel their presence, they're around you, they're dancing around you, they're with you, they're working with you. And that's why it's always important to be very respectful, never be demanding, and always, always, always say thank you, and when you're dismissing them, and make sure all of the doors that you have opened are appropriately closed. And always give an offering so that, you know, as they're going on their way back, they can take some of that offering with them. Copal burnt on a charcoal will enhance spellcraft. Now, that one I haven't personally tried. Usually for me to enhance spellcraft, it's about dragon's blood or mandrake root. But I found some spirits don't like dragon's blood and some spirits don't like mandrake root. The particular one that I'm working with likes osha root and dragon's blood to be burnt together on a coal before I put the specific incense for them on the coal for them to manifest. It is in and of itself considered a holy incense. So in some cultures, they consider copal to be a holy incense, so it's burnt in, I'm assuming, it didn't really state where it would be burnt, but I'm assuming it would be burnt in temples and churches and so on and so forth. they didn't really state why it's considered a holy incense, so if you know why, comment below. Copal is also good in divination, like I said, communicating with the spirits. There's other forms of divination as well. Cleansing, purification, banishment, exorcism, hex breaking, meditation, and other spiritual ceremonies. So like I said, I always use copal when it comes to working with spirits. Do not ingest copal. It is poisonous. It didn't exactly say why it was poisonous or what the side effects were. Just don't ingest copal. You're probably looking at miscarriages or low blood sugars for diabetics or diarrhea and vomiting, nausea. Just don't ingest this, okay? Don't ingest this. This is why I'm confused as to why you could make a tincture out of this. I'm assuming that not all tinctures are edible tinctures. I'm assuming you can make tinctures that aren't edible. I would mix this with an oil. Like the dust of it, like I'd crush some down and mix it with an oil to do things with, like an infusion. But I don't think I would personally make a tincture out of this, because whenever I think of tinctures, I think of things that you'd put in apple cider vinegar. And the things that you put in apple cider vinegar would be things that are edible, at least to you, based on your medical jazz that you go to a doctor and talk about. But I don't think I would make a tincture out of copal. But I do have a copal incense for cleansing here. So take a bit of copal, birch, buckthorn, and tobacco will help make a cleansing and purification incense. If you're allergic to tobacco, you could use sage. If you don't like the smell of sage, you could use rosemary. You don't have to use any of the ingredients I just listed. You can do your own damn thing. What, you don't like my dancing? Fine, bitch. Anyways, I hope that gives you some information on copal resin. Again, I wanted to keep this video short and kind of give you some ideas of what I use copal resin for and some of the ideas that copal resin's used for, and so on and so forth. So until next time, my fabulous, 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 fabulous witchy friends, mwah.